Are you one of those fools who mindlessly changes the clocks twice a year, pretending it makes sense? Spring forward, fall back, what's the point? Think about it, every single year. Who decided this was a good idea? And more importantly, why are we still doing it? For millions around the world, this clock-shifting tradition makes zero sense. So why do we keep playing along? The origins of daylight saving time date back to 1895, when George Hudson, an entomologist from New Zealand, first proposed the idea. His reasoning was simple. He wanted more daylight to collect insects. Yeah, you heard that right. Our modern clock-changing routine started because someone wanted to catch more bugs. But this whimsical suggestion didn't take off until 1916 during the First World War. Germany became the first country to officially implement it. And their motivation wasn't about enjoying sunny evenings. It was about conserving coal to fuel the war effort. Soon, other countries followed. Here's the kicker. Daylight saving time doesn't create more daylight. It just messes with our schedules. And let's be real. Do you really feel more productive after losing an hour of sleep in the spring? Didn't think so. Some say it saves energy, but modern studies are throwing serious doubt on that claim. In fact, it might actually cost more energy. We're clinging to an idea that might be more about inconvenience than innovation. You probably know that moving a clock doesn't magically add more daylight. By shifting human activity forward, it provides the illusion of extra daylight after the workday, encouraging outdoor activities. This is especially valued in areas far from the equator, where winters are long and summers are short. But here's where it gets tricky. Modern psychology tells us that the human body doesn't adjust as easily as the hands of a clock. Our internal biological rhythms are strongly tied to natural light. The sudden shift in time can lead to sleep deprivation, stress, and reduced cognitive function. And, in case you're wondering, this isn't just some minor inconvenience. It's a public health issue. And get this, while you're dragging yourself through your Monday morning after the time change, research shows there's a spike in heart attacks and car accidents. Yep, turning the clock forward could literally be killing us. Doesn't sound like such a great plan now, does it? The transition to daylight saving time, especially in the spring when we lose an hour, has a serious impact on sleep patterns. Numerous studies have shown that this disruption increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes. In the workplace, productivity plummets as employees struggle with fatigue. This isn't just anecdotal. Data shows that these sleep disruptions cost millions of dollars in lost productivity each year in the United States alone. Meanwhile, in the United States, the debate is heating up. Some states are on the verge of abandoning this outdated practice altogether. Permanent summertime? No more clock changes? It's becoming a reality in some places. When Germany first implemented daylight saving time, the goal was to save energy. It seemed logical back then. Extend daylight into the evening, and people would use less artificial lighting. But today's world is vastly different. Lighting is no longer the biggest drain on energy. Air conditioning, entertainment systems, and home appliances dominate our electricity usage. And in places like Phoenix, Arizona, where summer temperatures soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the extra daylight often means more energy spent running air conditioners to keep homes cool. Studies show that in hot climates, daylight saving time can increase overall energy use, as people avoid the unbearable heat and retreat indoors. So the question is, are we ready to break free from this ridiculous routine? Or will we keep pretending we can control the sun by shifting the hands of a clock? Let's dig into the strange, complicated history of daylight saving time and see if it's time to finally put it to rest. For good. In addition, technological advancements have made daylight saving time less relevant. The energy-efficient lighting of today, like LED bulbs, means that the amount of electricity used for lighting has drastically decreased. This has further diminished the original intent of the practice as an energy-saving measure. As the world becomes more interconnected, the complications of shifting clocks twice a year have grown more apparent. Planning international business meetings, scheduling flights, and even organizing virtual events becomes a nightmare when different countries, or even regions within the same country, observe different time rules. In the United States, Hawaii and most of Arizona don't observe daylight saving time, while other states do. This inconsistency causes confusion, particularly across time zones. And that's not all. Recent reports from tech companies highlight growing frustration with this outdated practice. International business meetings, online events, and even flight schedules are frequently disrupted by the varying start and end dates of daylight saving time around the world. In Europe, for example, the time change occurs weeks later than in the United States, creating a period where time differences fluctuate unpredictably. Furthermore, even within the United States, there's no uniformity. Florida has passed legislation to permanently adopt summertime, but federal approval is still pending. Media coverage has focused heavily on this debate, with several lawmakers advocating for either making summertime permanent or eliminating the practice altogether, citing the negative health, productivity, and logistical impacts of changing the clocks. After more than a century of using daylight saving time, we're left asking, is it still worth it? The energy savings are negligible, especially in today's world where technology has completely changed how we consume electricity. The sleep disruptions lead to measurable declines in health, safety, and productivity, with studies pointing to increased rates of car accidents and workplace injuries in the days following the clock changes. So is it time to break free from this outdated tradition, or will we continue this century-old dance with time? The conversation about the future of daylight saving time is gaining momentum. Public opinion is shifting, with polls showing a growing number of people believe the practice should either be abolished or significantly modified. In conclusion, daylight saving time might have been introduced with good intentions, but in today's world, its benefits are questionable at best. From minor energy savings to significant disruptions in public health and productivity, this old practice faces growing opposition. As we look ahead, one thing is certain. Our relationship with time, much like the seasons, is always evolving. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to leave this one behind. So the question is, are we ready to break free from this ridiculous routine? Or will we keep pretending we can control the sun by shifting the hands of a clock? Let's dig into the strange, complicated history of daylight saving time and see if it's time to finally put it to rest. For good.